Hello everybody. In this video, I would like to discuss second chapter of civics from class 9. The chapter name is the constitutional design. Now, we have to discuss following topics for the chapters. First topic is about the constitutions, and then I have to discuss significance of constitutions, then democratic constitutions in South Africa, and fourth topic is the making of Indian constitutions, which includes preambles, the constituent assembly, guiding values of the Indian constitutions, etc. Now, first of all, we have to discuss about the constitutions. What is constitutions? In the previous chapter, we have studied that in a democracy, the rulers are not free to do what they like. There are certain rules that the citizens and the rulers have to follow. All these rules together are called constitutions. Thus, the constitution of a country is a set of written rules that are accepted by all people living together in a country. Once again, the constitution of a country is a set of written rules that are accepted by all people living together in a country. Constitution is the supreme law that determines the relationship among people living in the territory called citizens, and also the relationship between the people and the government. Now, second topic is significance of constitutions. Significance means importance. What are the importance of the constitutions? These days, every state has a constitution by which the objective of the state, its nature, organizations, powers and function of the different organs of the government and their mutual relations, laws about the citizenship, territory of the states, rights and duties of the citizens, etc. are laid down. Now, first point is clarifies the nature of the state. Now, the constitution clarifies the nature of the state, whether it is democratic or authoritarian, secular or theocratic, welfare or exploitative. All this is clarified by the constitutions. Now, second point under this is the knowledge about the nature, organization and function of the government. After the constitutions, reading the constitution, we come to know about the nature, organization and function of the government of the state. The constitution also explains what about the different organs of the government and their functions. Now, third point is guardian of the rights and liberties of the people. Generally, the rights and duties are also included in the constitutions, and the constitutions work as their guardian also. All the organs of the government are committed to protections of the right and liberties of the people. Now, next point is check on the misuse of power. Constitution check the misuse of the power. Different organs of the government are also bound to exercise their power according to the previous provisions made in the constitutions, and in case any organ of the government does not do so, that action is declared unconstitutional. This way, the constitutions check the misuse of the power of the government. Okay. Now, next point is establishment of the rules of law. Constitution is the supreme law of the country, and every organ of the supreme government, every organ of the government officials and every individuals is bound to work according to the constitutions. Now our next topic is democratic constitution in South Africa. It is an example of democratic development in the world. So we will discuss this topic point-wise in a sequence. The system of racial discrimination was prevailing in South Africa before the new constitutions came into force at midnight of 26 April 1994. First point is, first, the policy of apartheid was imposed by the white over the blacks. Apartheid means racial discriminations, black and white discriminations, color discriminations, rang bhed. Under these, people of South Africa were discriminated on the basis of color and race. Since 1950, the black, colored and Indians fought against the apartheid system. They launched protest marches and strikes. The African National Congress (ANC), African National Congress, was the umbrella organizations that led the struggle against the policies of the segregations. This included many workers' unions and Communist Party. Many sensitive white also joined the ANC to oppose apartheid and played a leading role in this struggle. Several countries, including India, denounced apartheid as unjust and racist, but the white racist government continued to rule by detaining, torturing and killing thousands of black and colored people. As protest and struggle against apartheid had increased, the government realized that they could no longer keep the black under their rule through repressions. The white regime changed its policies. Discriminatory laws were repealed, ban on political parties and restrictions on the media were lifted. After 28 years of imprisonment, Nelson Mandela walked out of the jail as a free man. Finally, at the midnight of 26 April 1994, the new national flag of Republic of South Africa was unfurled, marking the newly born democracy in the world. After the emergence of the new democratic South Africa, the new leaders decided to build a new South Africa based on equality of all races, including men and women, on democratic values, social justice and human rights. The South Africa thus inspire democrats all over the world. Now our next topic is the making of Indian constitutions. In 1928, Motilal Nehru and 8 other Congress leaders drafted a constitution for India. In 1931, the resolution at the Karachi sessions of the Indian National Congress mainly dealt on how independent India's constitutions should look like. Both these documents were committed to the inclusion of universal adult franchise, right to freedom and equality, and to protecting the right of the minorities in the constitutions of independent India. Thus, some basic values were accepted by all leaders much before the formation of the Constituent Assembly. The British rule, which was non-democratic rule, had given voting right only to few peoples. Indian leaders were inspired by the ideal of the French revolutions, Russian revolutions, American revolutions, the practice of parliamentary democracy in Britain, and the Bill of Rights in the United States, US. Yet, They were not simply imitating what other had done. At each step, they were questioning whether these things suited our country. All these factors contributed to the making of our constitutions. Now, our next topic is the Constituent Assembly. Our constitution was framed by the Constituent Assembly, elected according to the Cabinet Mission's proposal of May 16, 1946. Now, the composition of the Constituent Assembly. There were to be 389 total members in the Constituent Assembly. Out of these, 93 members were from the princely states, and these were nominated by the princes. Elections to the remaining 296 seats of the Constituent Assembly were completed by the end of July 1946. Out of the 210 general seats, the Congress owned 201, while the Muslim Leagues owned 73 seats out of 78 allotted to the Muslims. After the partition of India on August 15, 1947, the strength of the Constituent Assembly got reduced to 308 members. Now, the Constituent Assembly started its work on 9th December 1946 with Dr. Sanchidanand as its interim president. Its interim president was Dr. Sanchidanand. 2 days later, on 11th December 1946, Dr. Rajendra Prasad was elected as the president of the Constituent Assembly. Okay. Now, then the drafting committee. The Constituent Assembly appointed 14 committees and 4 subcommittees to examine different aspects. The most important was the drafting committee. Appointed on 29th August 1947, this committee was headed by Dr. Bhim Rao Ambedkar, who was its chairman. The other members of the drafting committee were N. Gopala Swami Iyengar, Alladi Krishna Swami Iyer, K. M. Munshi, and Syed Muhammad Sadullah. Mr. B. N. Rao was the secretary of the Constituent Assembly. On 21st February 1948, it presented its first report of the draft constitutions to the Constituent Assembly. The passage of the constitutions. Each article of the draft constitutions was discussed and fully debated in the Constituent Assembly from 15 November 1948 to 17th October 1949. The members moved 7,635 amendments. Discussions on 2,473 amendment motions was held. Then from the 14th November 1949 to 26th November 1949, the final discussion on the draft constitutions was held. The constitutions was adopted and enacted on 26th November 1949 when it received the assent of the President of the Constituent Assembly, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, and other members. It was enforced on 26th January 1950. The Constituent Assembly took 2 years, 11 months and 18 days, nearly 3 years, in making these constitutions, and about 6.4 crore were spent. Now our next topic is preamble. The preamble contains the ideals and basic principle of the constitutions. The preamble is not a part of constitution, but it has been described as key to the constitutions. In 1976, the words socialist, secular, and unity and integrity of the nations were added in our preambles. Now, I have to read the preamble. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political liberty of the thoughts, expressions, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individuals and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves these constitutions. Now, in our preamble, there were so many important terms included, which is important for our constitutions, to know the constitutions of India. So we have to discuss one by one every important terms given in the preambles. Now, first term is given in yellow, highlighted it parts. We, the people of India. The constitution has been drawn up and enacted by the people through their representative and not handed down to them by a king or any outside powers. Now, next topic is sovereign. Next term is sovereign. Sovereign means the people have supreme right to make decisions on internal as well as external matters. No external power can dictate the government of India. It is free from the external powers. Next is socialist. Socialist means wealth is generated socially and should be shared equally by society. Now, next word is secular. Citizens have complete freedom to follow any religion, but there is no official religion. Government treat all religions, religious beliefs and practices with equal respect. Now, next word is democratic. It is a form of government where people enjoy equal political rights, elect their rulers, and hold them accountable. Now, next word is republic. It means the head of the state is an elected person and not a hereditary position. Then, justice. Citizen cannot be discriminated on the ground of caste, religion, and gender. Social inequality have to be reduced. Next is liberty. There are no unreasonable restrictions on the citizens in what they think, how they wish to express their thoughts, and the way they wish to follow up their thoughts in actions. Now, next term is equality. All are equal before the law. It means all are equal before the law. The traditional social inequalities have to be ended, like untouchability. Now, fraternity. All of us should have, as if we are member of the same family, no one should be treat a fellow citizen as inferior. These are the important terms which depicts our preambles, our constitutions, the summary of the constitutions. Now, next, our topic is guiding value of the Indian constitutions. Indian constitutions is unique. It is healthy synthesis of the world best democratic constitutions. Father of our constitutions have tried to learn from the experience of other nations. They adopted certain features of the constitutions of UK, USA, Ireland, Canada after suitably modifying these to suit Indian conditions. Thus, they have been able to give an excellent and workable constitutions to India, which has been in force for the past more than 54 years. The following are some of the basic features of constitutions. Our constitution is written, enacted and lengthy constitutions. First point is written, enacted and lengthy constitutions. Our constitution is a written document. It is the lengthiest one, having 395 articles and 12 schedules lists in it, and it is divided into 22 parts. Our constitution contains 90,000 words. Okay. Next point is sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. Our constitution is sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. The Constitution of India lays down certain basic feature or the basic structure which cannot be amended, altered or modified by any legitimate authority in India. The Constitution declares India to be a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. India is sovereign as it is independent of any foreign control. Once again, India is sovereign as it is independent of any foreign control. It is socialist as it aims at social and economic equality. It is socialist as it aims at social and economic equality. It is secular as there is no state religion in India. It is secular as there is no state religion in India. It is democratic as the government is elected by the people directly after every 5 years. It is republic because the head of the state in India, namely President, is elected for 5 years by the member of the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and State Legislative Assembly. Now, next, third point, universal adult franchise. Every citizen of India who is at least 18 years of age can be a voter to elect the representative to the parliament and the state legislature. He possesses this right without any discrimination of caste, creed, color, gender, religion or belief. But he must get himself registered as a voter at the required time. Now, next point, both rigid and flexible constitutions. Our constitution is rigid and flexible both. Indian constitution is very long and detailed document, therefore it is need to be amended quite regularly to keep it updated. Article 368 of the constitution provide for the procedure of amendment in our constitutions. Some articles can be amended by a simple majority vote in the parliament, but some other articles can be amended by 2/3 majority in both house of the parliament. This is slightly difficult method, but the most difficult method is used in amending some articles related to the election of president, executive power of union government and the state government, power of Supreme Court or the High Court. Now lastly, we have to discuss some important terms given in the NCERT books. Now first important terms is apartheid. It means the official policy of racial separation and ill treatment of blacks followed by the government of South Africa between 1948 and 1989. Now second is clause, a distinct section of document. It means a distinct section of a document. Now next is Constituent Assembly. It is an assembly of a people's representatives that writes a constitution for a country. It is assembly of people's representatives that writes a constitution for a country. Now next is Constitution. It means it is the supreme law of a country containing fundamental rules governing the politics and society in a country. Next is constitutional amendment. That is a type of change in the constitutions made by the supreme legislative body in a country. A change in the constitutions made by the supreme legislative body in a country. Now next is draft. A preliminary version of a legal document. It means a preliminary version of a legal document. Next is philosophy. The most fundamental principles underlying one's thoughts and actions. Philosophy means the most fundamental principles underlying one's thoughts and actions. Next is preamble, an introductory statement in a constitution which states the reasons and guiding value of the constitutions. Next is treason, the offense of attempting to overthrow the government of the state to which the offender owns allegiance. Now terrorist, last is terrorist, tryst, a meeting or meeting place that has been agreed upon. Thank you.